Hello everybody and welcome to Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. I'm Jack and today I'm here with the final round of Pokebeach's January tournament. We are up against, I believe his name on PTCGO is Elliot for me, or Elbow on the PTCGO forums, Pokebeach forums. So yeah, we're going to jump straight into the battles and see what we're up against today. Okay, so we've got our battle with Elliot for me here. Going to find the Night March deck, there we go. And we'll see what we're up against for the final round. We're both on a 4-1-0 record, so 4 wins and a loss each. Looks like we've probably got a Night March mirror, which could be interesting. Considering the last Night March mirror I had on the channel did not go down too well. I think I've learnt a lot more about the matchup since then, and I won't make hopefully as many stupid plays as I did in that last game, or not stupid plays, but misplays. So yeah, we win the coin flip, so we are of course going to go first. None of this maybe going second is better option, going first, because we want to get that turn 1 hex if possible to slow our opponent down as much as possible. Pretty rough hand though, because we don't really have an out to a supporter unless we draw a VS Seeker or something slightly better off of the top deck. Okay, we see Zubat, so I couldn't have been, well, potentially I could have been more wrong, but that's definitely not a normal Night March deck, so that's interesting. Gonna go for the compressor. PTCGO seems a little bit laggy lately. I don't know why it is, it just feels a bit, doesn't quite feel as smooth as it once was. So I apologise if the game seems a bit choppy. I'm trying to well, I've kind of been looking into why that's been, and I can't really tell too much. It just, it may be my computer's getting old, it may be PTCGO itself is in a bit of a rough state, but I don't know, hopefully the quality of the video won't be too bad. Okay, we've got all 4 of our DCE, and I just want to check the Milotic and Feebas count. Looks like we've got 2 of both. Okay, so we'll ditch those 3, we'll get the supporter in there just in case we don't get much off of this Shaman that I'm going to go for. Going to ditch both of these Lampants and get myself a Shaman. It's really cold in my room today, so you may hear my teeth chattering a little bit. So you're going to drop the Shaman down for 4. Hopefully we can get ourselves into... this is good luck. Thank you very much, Elbow. Okay, so we have potentially some things here. I'm going to go for the compressor before we go for the trainer's mail, just to ditch some of these cards that we don't want to see off the trainer's mail first. I'm pretty sure with the lightning and now seeing the bat, it's going to be Manectric bats, so I think Joltix, well, Pumpkaboos are the attacker we want to be using over Joltix, so I think I'm going to discard the Joltix before the Pumpkaboos. That being said, it looks like we have 2 prized, which is always fun. So we'll get rid of a Pumpkaboo, and I think we might also get rid of a Hex here. I think I saw one. Yeah, there's one there. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to get rid of a Hex here. Just in case we do need to draw something like 2 VS Seeker, or something like that. I'd rather Hex turn 1 than dig for more cards turn 1 if we don't need to. And then we'll go for the Trainer's Mail. Grabbing a compressor of all of those cards can be really useful. All of those cards can be really useful. I think I'm going to grab the town map, though I should probably get a supporter. I'm going to go for the VS Seeker. Forget the town map for now. This secures a supporter for next turn, meaning that we will indeed probably Hex this turn, though potentially depending on what we draw with the Shaman. The next question is, do I want to attach this DC or not? I really don't like the idea of attaching to Joltik, because I can definitely see it going down next turn. Though you would have to find some sort of switching card as well. So you need Energy Switch, Muscle Band, and Manectric. I think because we're playing Milotic we can attach. And then we'll go for the Shaman. Grab ourselves another 3 cards. We do get the second VS Seeker, which means I will indeed be going for the Hex this turn, I think. Though I may use the Super Scoop Up. What could I use it on? I could use it to try and dodge this, try and get the Joltik out of the way. But then, if the Joltik's out of the way, it's going to mean we still have to move the Shaman next turn. Okay, I'm going to go for the Ultra Ball, discarding the Xerosic and the D-Valley. And I'm going to grab myself a Pumpkaboo, I think. Though we could go for the Shaman. Yeah, I think going for the Shaman is probably a better option here. Oops. I mean, Manectric eats Shamans for days on days on days, but hey. I will go for the Super Scoop Up. I think I'm actually going to go for it on the Shaman though, just because I want to draw through the deck as much as possible. Yeah, Shaman for days. And sort of moving this Joltik, I might even prefer. How many have we got? We've got six in the discard. This will be the 7th. With the Muscle Band, that's at 8 and 8th. So we just need to get one more next turn. I think I'm going to get... See, this... I don't know, it just feels a little bit annoying leaving this Joltik active, but we've still got to find a way of moving it next turn. So I think I'm just going to pick up a Shaman. If this Joltik goes down, the biggest loss is the DCE, which we can get if we can grab ourselves a Milotic. Do have the AZ this turn as well, though there's no real use for it. I am going to save the Super Scoop Up, I think, to try and... Oh no, because we're going to be Sycamoring next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we Super Scoop up a Shaman again, we're just getting another 1, maybe 2 cards. I personally am not 100% sure what I want to do here. I think picking up this Joltik, I'm probably going to regret it because I don't have a Night Marcher on the bench. But picking up the Shaman seems kind of useless, but we should do that before we use the Hex anyway, so we might as well go for it. We actually miss, which is okay. I don't think it's too important because we're still getting more cards with another Shaman. We do have another DC and a 3rd VS Seeker. Gonna go for the Acro Bike. Pray that we don't get the double DCE. We do get a DCE, which is annoying. Though I'm happy to get rid of a Lysander here. Putting the DCE in hand. Okay, I think that's okay. And then we can go for the Hex this turn. Though I'd love to go for the AZ to pick up another card. But I think we're going to go for the Hex. Where is it? There it is. Go for the Hex. Just try and slow our opponent down. I don't want to Sycamore this hand because it's got 2 DCE. We're probably going to lose Joltik next turn, so that'll be 3 DCE gone in a turn. AZ only gets us 1 card here. It's probably going to be more useful next turn when we've got a smaller hand size. Xerosic, there's nothing to target. Lysander, there's nothing to target. So I think Hex is the correct play here. And then we will pass it over. Attaches the water energy, which makes me think it's probably... Okay, this is interesting. So we see a Pikachu, a Zubat. Okay, so it's going to be Raichu Bat. Okay. Raichu Bats is a bit more of an awkward matchup to deal with, just because they're non-EX and we like to take prizes on EXs. But I think if we can take the initial prizes and go ahead in the prize race, hopefully we can win this race. He does do the 10 damage to the Joltik, which means we will go down to a Golbat next turn. That's definitely useful to remember. So what do I want to target here? I think this Joltik is pretty much going to be going down next turn no matter what. He could actually take out the Feebas as well, because I know he has the AZ in hand. So I think taking out this Zubat is probably the most important thing here. Which which means we don't want to Lysander. So I think I'm just going to AZ up a Shaman. Again, I don't want to discard this energy, but there's nothing I really want to attach it to. I want to see if I can find myself a Pumpkaboo first. So we're going to go for the Shaman. And though we could drop an energy just for an extra card. No, I think I want to try and attach to a Pumpkaboo this turn. Hopefully we can get an Ultra Ball or a Pumpkaboo. We get a Milotic. That could actually be really useful. We can get ourselves an Ultra Ball. What else do we want here? I think it's not too important if we don't evolve this Milotic this turn, especially if we're taking out a Zubat. But I think I want to try and find a Pumpkaboo this turn anyway. So I think I'm actually going to go for the Milotic and get myself an Ultra Ball. I don't want to just take a Night March out this discard, though we probably could, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in here, so we're doing 100, which is everything that we need to. So we could, rather than discard like a VS or something, we could just take the Pumpkaboo out of the discard, because we still do enough to knock out a Raichu in a turn. We don't do enough to knock out a Crobat in a turn, but if we could take out a Zubat here, he can't get a Crobat next turn. He would have to go into a Golbat, unless he runs Rare Candy, I suppose. So we can then Lysander up and deal with this Crobat, this Golbat, if we need to. I doubt we will. I think the Jirachi is going to be of a higher priority. So I'll have to definitely keep that in mind. But I'm going to go for the Night March and take the initial prize on this Zubat. And we do get the Hex. That's interesting. I don't know how useful that'll be next turn, because I think I'm probably going to be Lysandering. Potentially on the Zubat, potentially on the Jirachi, I'm not sure yet. Does get the Raichu. I'll be very surprised if we don't see a Golbat come in here and take out this Joltik. Goes for the Sacred Ash to get back in that Zubat, and then discards, I think it was a Milotic and a Crobat. Doesn't get the Crobat, the Golbat, sorry, to take the prize on the Joltik. What do I want to send up here? I think I want to send up the Milotic. Don't want to send up the Pumpkaboo because that can easily die in a turn. Milotic cannot. Shaman can. Yeah, I think Milotic. It has to be Milotic here. Because if he has the DC, he takes out anything else on the bench, and we don't want to lose another Night Marcher this early on, especially with an energy. Gets the Muscle Band, probably has the DC. Okay, goes to this Shaman setup to try and find the DCE. So he's doing 100 at the moment. He probably could take this Milotic out, but I'd rather he take the Milotic out than take out the Pumpkaboo or 2 prizes from the Shaman. Though we are going to need to start fighting our Night Marchers relatively quickly. Just because he's going to be taking a prize a turn from this point. Goes to the Ultra Ball. Probably getting another Shaman. Maybe he missed the DCE. He does get another Shaman. And drops it down for another 3. Gets another Pikachu ready for next turn, in case we knock out this Raichu of his. And goes for another Ultra Ball, probably for another Shaman. Yep. See if he can fish out another 4 cards for a DCE. Goes to the Level Ball. Not sure what he's getting here. Could be Golbat, could be Raichu, could be... Okay, so it's a Feebas. So he does have... We obviously know he has the Milotic line in the deck. Also plays Water Energy, that's interesting. So he misses the knockout. So he's actually just sending up the Feebas for us to knock out here. In that case, how do I want to move this Milotic? Do I want to AZ it up and just take the prize on the Feebas? Do I want to Sycamore to try and find the Floatstone? I should have checked whether Floatstone was in the deck, to be honest, because it may not be. Of course, if we put the Feebas down, he can just use Crobat to knock it out in a turn, which is pretty rough. We could attach, retreat, and Lysander something like the Raichu or the Golbat, but then we're losing another DCE, which isn't something we really want to do. Why can we not use 2 supporters in a turn? That would be fun. I don't think attach retreating is right here, so I'm not going to do that. I think AZing it up is probably the best option. Though if we AZ it up, we can actually use Shaman. We can actually pick up a Shaman at the same time, which means we can still go for. Oh no, we can't. Of course we can't. Okay, that does save a DCE though. What are we going to send up though? We're then in a similar spot as to where we were last time. Yeah, last turn. In that he gets like a free 2 prizes with Raichu. Okay, so I think I just want to AZ this up. I think that's what I'm going to do here. Go for the AZ. Pick up the Milotic. And we'll send up the Pumpkaboo. Though this way, no, I think we send up the Shaman here actually, because we can still bounce the Shaman off the board, and we can start getting prize denying a bit. But if we attack with the Night Marcher, he can still kill the Night Marcher. Whereas if we attack with the Shaman, he can kill the Night Marcher, but we pick up a Shaman off the board. So I think I want to send up Shaman here, because it only has 30 HP. We can just Sky Return for knockout. Attach the DCE. Go for the Feebas. We may as well use the Megaphone. I can't see him attaching many more tools. Potentially one here, and potentially one here. So I suppose there's no real reason to at the moment. But I will go for the Sky Return. And I will send the Pumpkaboo up. Oh, we can't even... What was I thinking? We can't even attack with this Pumpkaboo because we don't have a Dimension Valley. And we get a Joltik off the prizes. And we will send this Pumpkaboo up. I'm glad I noticed that right at the end, because that would have been such a silly play. He does have the Crobat for the Feebas. So we could be in a pretty rough spot next turn. Though we do have the Joltik and the DCE, and a VS Seeker for an AZ. Does attach another tool, and goes for the teammates. Okay. It's useful to know he plays teammates. We can now kind of expect that. You could definitely use the Jirachi here to get rid of this DCU from our side of the field. Grabs an Ultra Ball from the Trainer's Mail, and does have a DCE. Interesting that he didn't attach to the Jirachi. Maybe he's trying to dig for the knockouts instead. That's fair enough. What do I want to take prizes on here? Depends what we get off of this top deck, I guess. Get the Pumpkaboo and the Joltik. Okay. So we do have access to both, though we still don't have a Dimension Valley. I can't. There's no way of him being able to. I suppose there is technically a way of him being able to knock out a Pumpkaboo in a turn if he attaches to this Zubat and does the damage to the Zubat, not the Pumpkaboo, the Joltik, sorry. Which could be awkward. I'm trying to get as large a Shaman as possible here. So I'm going to get rid of some of these cards. If I attach the Joltik, if I bench the Joltik and attach to it, we do have the VS Seeker to guarantee a knockout. Guarantee a knockout next turn on this Raichu. It's just whether we want to knock out the Raichu or knock out something like a Shaman on the bench. Ideally, we would draw some sort of switching card from the Shaman, but that may not happen. I think that's the best line of play though, so we'll go for the Joltik. attach the DC to it, because we are ensuring a knockout next turn this way. It's just not necessarily a knockout on something that we want. We would rather take it on a Shaman or something, but that'll only happen if we have a way of moving this Shaman. We do get a town map, that's always nice. Okay, the floatstone is in there, I thought it was. And Buddy Buddy Rescue, that's also useful to know. And the Joltik. Okay, I think I'm probably going to take the floatstone from this prize. What's he going to discard if we change his stadium? Probably just 2 Shamans, which is not how we want to deal with the game. So we're going to have to go for the VS Seeker for the AZ here, unfortunately, rather than a Lysander, because we don't have a way of retreating this Shaman. We can AZ up this Shaman. We can drop it back down, I suppose. Do we want to? Or do we want to wait until next turn when we can use the Dimension Valley as well? If we take this prize, we're going down to 3. Okay, so if we take this prize, we're going down to 3, so we can kill 2 Shamans, but we don't want to kill 2 Shamans anyway. So I think actually using this Dimension Valley and going for the Shaman now is fine. He could still bounce the stadium, I suppose. How many stadiums? I think we've gone through 2 stadiums. 1. Okay, we have gone through 2 stadiums. I think I'm going to hold the stadium in that case then. Just because we don't have a Feebas in play to be able to ensure that we can get one of the stadiums back next turn. So we're just going to go for the Night March here and take the knockout. And then next turn we're going to drop the Dimension Valley and then go for the Shaman. I think I'll also grab the Floatstone here. Compressor isn't too useful at the moment. Having free retreat on something is really useful, so I think I'm going to grab this Floatstone. I don't need the Night Marcher because we're doing enough damage to knock out anything on the board. Does have a Pikachu, probably has an out to teammates as well. There's the DCE and the Raichu already, so teammates is getting him 2 cards of even more value than just Raichu DCE. Gets the Lysander. So going to be Lysandering a Shaman here, I would imagine. Yep. So we need to find a way of denying him energy next turn, which is going to be difficult, especially if he already has. Like if he has a teammates or something, he can just teammates for the energy. Go to the circle circuit. We do need to be cautious of this Zubat as well. Though we don't need to dig for an energy this turn, which is nice. We can just get ourselves a knockout straight away. So going for the Hex. What's he going to attack with next turn? He can actually attack with the Shaman to take the final prize, so I should probably actually use Pumpkaboo here. If we knock out this Raichu, he has to attack with either Crobat. Okay, so we can't play the D-Valley because he can just take the prize on the Joltik. So we can't play the Dimension Valley because he needs an energy, so he needs either an energy or a DCE. I'm kind of thinking out loud here. So he needs an energy next turn, basically. If he has an energy, he will get himself a knockout, because wherever we move this Joltik, this Crobat can always take a prize. Therefore, we don't want to use the Dimension Valley. So we probably want to use a Hex. Though we could, yeah, because we need to take out this Raichu, so I think Hex is probably our best option here. Is there anything else we can do? We can drop a Feebas down. If he can take a knockout on a Jolt, he can take a knockout on a Feebas, so there's no threat to dropping this Feebas. And if we do live an extra turn, which I'll be highly surprised if we do, but if we do, we will get access to Milotic next turn. What else? Is there anything else? We could drop the Shaman, but I can't see what it's going to draw us here. I suppose we should anyway, though. So we'll go for the Floatstone. Do I want on the Shaman? Probably on the Shaman, yeah. and then we'll drop the Shame in for 2, just to see what we can draw, see if there's anything that I'm overlooking that might help us in this situation. Get a DC and a Super Scoop Up. Okay, now I wish we hadn't benched this Feebas, because we could use the Super Scoop Up on the Joltik. And if we'd hit it, we could then use D-Valley and the... maybe I shouldn't have benched that Joltik. That Feebas, sorry. I didn't even think of that. Okay. How many VS Seeker have we gone through? 1, 2, 3... So there's still one VS Seeker in the deck. I don't think it's... Yeah, it wasn't priced. That's really interesting. I completely forgot about the fact that we had Super Scoop Up to pick up this Joltik if we needed to. Okay. That's fair enough. What else do we want to do? I think just hexing here is fine. How many Super Scoop Up have we gone through? 1, 2, third in our hand. Okay, so we could technically draw into a 4th Super Scoop Up and a VS Seeker if we get a Shame in. Then use the D-Valley, attach the energy here. Playing this D-Valley pretty much auto loses us the game because he just has a free attack on Crobat. I think we'll go for the Super Scoop Up. We do get the heads. I'm going to go for the Shaman to see if we can draw into the cards we need, because we haven't used a supporter yet. So we're going to attach this DCE. This will lose us the game unless we get off of the 3 cards that we're drawing, VS Seeker and Super Scoop Up, which will lead to a heads. What are the chances of drawing that extra card? I think we have to play a bit riskier here. No, because that auto wins in the game. I can't do that. I can't do that. That doesn't make sense in my mind. I think we just draw the 2 cards and pray. We get the Acrobike and the Trainer's Mail. Okay, that definitely could be worse. Get the Trainer's Mail and the Milotic. We're going to take the Trainer's Mail here. Don't need the Milotic. We've got one in hand. Go for the Trainer's Mail. Hopefully we can find ourselves an Ultra Ball, a Muscle Band, or a Compressor. Probably the Compressor. Just to get rid of some dead weight in our deck. Not that I think there is much. Pumpkaboo can go, Pumpkaboo can go. Okay, so okay. So I'm glad I didn't bench this or play this Dimension Valley. There's nothing we can really do about... We've just got to pray he doesn't have an energy next turn. I'm going to go for the Hex. And then... yeah, then go for the Night March. Next turn I can go for the Trainer's Mail once we've drawn an extra card. Because once we've drawn that extra card, it's going to mean that there's less cards for us to look at with Trainer's Mail, so we're more likely to get that VS Seeker. Plus we might draw the VS Seeker just off the actual card itself. What do I want to take here? I suppose Battle Compressor just to get rid of anything else that we don't want in the deck. I don't need another Joltik, because we do need to hit that VS Seeker next turn. Okay, so he probably has the game. If he has the energy. Yeah, he does have the energy. Fair enough. That's good game 1. I'll go first for the second game. So good game, Elliot, for me. Game 1. That was a pretty interesting game. I don't know whether there was much I could have done. There probably was. I'll have to rewatch this footage and see if I played optimally or not. But hey, so we're going to get ourselves another. Whoops, down at the. Okay, he beat us to it. Damn. Night March. So we're going to go into game 2. I definitely have to watch this game, or that last game back, just because I want to see whether I could have done anything differently on reflection. Maybe not bench that Feebas. I'll definitely have to keep that in mind this game. Okay, this is not a fantastic hand, but it could be worse. Going to start Pumpkaboo here, just because it's a little bit less susceptible than Joltik. And because we're going first, I'm not going to bench anything else, just because I want to see what we're dealing with. Not that one Pokemon will give us much insight. I am pretty much just going to play both of these cards down straight away. And going to go for the Dimension Valley as well, just because I want as strong a Shaman here as possible. He may bounce it, but hopefully we can still grab one next turn if we need to. Okay, Acrobike, Ultra Ball, and Float Stone. All pretty useful. Going to attach the Float Stone to the Feebas, I think. Ultra Ball, probably the Milotic and the Lampent to get myself another Shaman, and then Acrobike. I think I want to Ultra Ball first. Though this is really risky if we don't have another Milotic in deck. I should definitely double check that. Not that I could have known. We do have another Milotic in deck, okay. Panic over. Both of our Shaman. 1, 2, 3, because we've got one Lampent prized. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So all of our all of our Night Marches bar one Lampent is prized. No, all of our Night Marches are in the deck, bar one Lampent, which is prized. That's what I was going for there. Let's throw a Float Stone down on the Feebas. Go for the Acrobike. Get the double colourless. That's pretty nice. I don't know whether it's useful yet, but he can't knock us out this turn. I didn't see any Evo Soda or Wally or anything, so I think attaching there is fine. And we'll go for the setup. I really want to find myself a Hex this turn. So if we go for the Super Scoop Up, hopefully getting a Shaman. Yep, pick up a Shaman. And probably discard the Ultra Ball and one of the Shamans here, to be honest. To get another Night Marcher. Definitely going to be a Pumpkaboo. Like I say, Pumpkaboos are going to be what we want to be using in this matchup. Even though we have to find D-Valley. With Feebas it's a little bit easier. And hopefully we can find ourselves a Compressor to get ourselves a Hex Maniac. Using this VS Seeker. Okay. Go for the town map. And yeah, one Lampent prize. 2 VS Seeker prize. That's not very nice. Go for the Super Scoop Up. And get the Tails, unfortunately. But we do have an energy for next turn, just in case. And we'll have to pass it over there. Do excuse me. Still got a really little tickly cough, which is infuriating. Only got one Lampent in there at the moment, which isn't nice. Goes for a couple of Trainers Mails. Probably going to be looking to build up his bench this turn. To start swinging with Raichu next turn. Does have the Skyfield, that's okay. And I didn't see what he discarded there. Okay, an Ultra Ball for with 2 Sycamores, probably to grab a Shaman here. Really unfortunate that we didn't get that turn 1 Hex. This deck loves getting a turn 1 Hex. Has the DCE already, that's interesting. Probably going to go for Nuzzle here, to be honest. Gets under the Pikachu down, I'm probably going to see a Zubat here as well. Just so we can start dealing with these Joltics here and there. To take a few extra prizes quickly. Does indeed grab himself a Zubat. Ultra Balling away a Milotic and a VS Seeker. Again, probably for another Shaman. Okay, to grab a Feebas. And then a Sycamore. VS Seeker for Sycamore. Nice. Really good play on our opponent's part. Okay. So he's going to get himself a fresh hand of 7. Another bat and another Pikachu is really nice. Trainer's Mail. Grabbing himself. Maybe a tough decision. Grabbing himself a muscle band. Okay. Attached it to the active. Muscle band isn't too important in this matchup. Okay, go to the quick attack. That's interesting. Gets the 40 damage, so this is only 20 away from being knocked out, so that actually is kind of significant. Unfortunately, we don't have enough Night Marchers to get a knockout here, even on this little Pikachu, which is really annoying. And we have no VS Seeker targets. We can't even attack with this Pumpkaboo, so we'd have to retreat into the Joltik, but we don't want to do that because it's so easily killed. We're going to be seeing. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing an extra 20 damage from this Pumpkaboo this turn. On this Pumpkaboo anyway this turn. I'm probably going to Sky Return here, to be completely honest. Just to try and start taking some prizes off the board and give us a little bit of an out next turn to drawing some more cards. We are going to lose a DC in the progress, but this Pumpkaboo is going to be pretty much going down to a sneaky bite anyway next turn. So we're just going to go for the Sky Return, only doing 30. Excuse me. This tickly cough is horrible. Only doing 30, as I was trying to say, to this Pikachu, but considering we have no Night March in the discard really, we've only got one, that 30 damage could actually be influential in this game. Like that Muscle Band was. Completely ignore the fact that the Muscle Band isn't useful, because it really is. Because it means he can just snipe this Pumpkaboo really easily now, which isn't nice. Grabs a VS Seeker. Evolves into Raichu. If he doesn't have the knockout here, that's really nice for us, because he's kind of wasted his 40 damage. If he does have the knockout, I'm going to feed him the Joltik here, I think. I could feed him the Pumpkaboo, so we guarantee a knockout next turn. Yeah, I think that's probably better actually, because that way we don't have to look for the Dimension Valley. Though the Joltik will only be a Crobat drop away from being knocked out. And if he doesn't have the knockout here, then I think we're in even better shape. Actually, no, we're not, because we still can't get this knockout. Like, this 40 damage will be wasted, but it's not that important. Goes for the setup, drawing himself a couple of cards. Does get the Golbat, so we're probably going to see this Pumpkaboo go down here. Yeah. And he takes his first prize. And again, I think I'm going to feed him the Pumpkaboo, just because I believe we've gone through, yeah, 2 Dimension Valley, which is rough. But, hey. Feed him another Pumpkaboo. So he can get the knockout with Joltik this turn. He is going to respond with a Shaman by the looks of it. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Okay. Actually picks up the Shaman here with Sky Return. And gives us a Feebas to take out. Interesting. Another 2 well, with 3 Joltiks in hand, that's not nice. So am I attaching here? If I attach here, he's taking away this Shaman, which is really annoying, because we're going to have to find the Dimension Valley as well. It's horrible that I'm going to have to bench some of these Joltiks, because they're just like free prizes, really. Plus, he's going to be moving this Shaman. Probably Pikachu as well. So we are going to have to take 6 prizes, and he's already ahead, which isn't nice. I think it's the only real way, though. I'm going to attach the DCE. I think I'm probably going to bench 2 of these Joltics. Probably, we could potentially bench all 3 here. Checking how I missed that the D Valley is in the prizes. If we bench all 3, we'll have 7 Pokemon on the bench when we use the Shaman. We'll have to get rid of 2, so we can get rid of 2 Joltik. So that'll leave us with a bench of 2 Joltik, 2 Shaman, and a Feebas. Or we could get rid of the Feebas, the Shaman, sorry, to mean he has to make him take 6 prizes on these Night Marches instead. Or 6 knockouts on these Night Marches instead. I think we have to just really dig with Shaman here, because we don't have a supporter to use, and we don't have the knockout here. So I think we just have to dig for as many cards as possible. Okay, the Hex Maniac could be nice, if it's the only supporter we have. If not, I would much prefer something like a... Okay, Compressor is really good. So we're going to go for the Compressor. Going to definitely get ourselves a Sycamore. Definitely get ourselves a couple of Night Marches as well. Oops. A Lampant. And, okay, it probably is going to be a Pumpkaboo anyway. Okay, so this way, what I'm hoping we can do is find ourselves either, well, probably a Milotic, to be completely honest with you, just because that's going to be the most likely thing we find. Go for the Trainer's Mail. We get the D Valley, so we don't even need to find the Milotic this turn, which means we may actually just Hex Maniac. Interesting to see what he gets rid of here. I thought it would be the Shaman. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So like I say, I think I'm going to get rid of... What I could have done there is, with the Battle Compressor, got rid of a Lysander, instead of one of these Night Marches. And then Lysandered up the Shaman, and then got rid of 2 more to do 120. I probably should have done that instead. That's unfortunate. What do I want to get rid of here? The 2 Shamans or the Joltics? If we go for the Hex, then the Joltics are safe next turn, as is this Pumpkaboo. I'm going to get rid of a Shaman. I think I'm probably going to get rid of both of the Shaman here. I want him to take 6 knockouts here, not any other way. And we'll go for the Night March. Taking out this Feebas. And we've got the VS Seeker in hand. If we can shut off his abilities from here, that'll be really good. So maybe we do take the VS Seeker. Yeah, I think we do. So he has no abilities next turn, which means we're not going to see a Crobat drop on here without him wasting the damage. I'm just about to sneeze. I need to look at the light. Okay, it's gone. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to see a Crobat drop here, or in any of these. So from here we can sort of chain the hexes to make him take 6 knockouts. Unfortunately, we are going to have to find ourselves a Feebas, a Milotic at some point to get a DC back. I think there's one in the discard, a second here that's going to be going down, a third which we will attach to the Joltik to take this prize on the Raichu. Okay, brings up the Golbat. Goes to the sweep across, probably going to try and take a few prizes at once here. That's definitely a really solid play. We get the second DC, that's interesting. He didn't need to attach the energy because of the D Valley, so he did at least waste his energy attachment this turn. Benching all of these Joltics was perhaps a mistake. We're just going to attach to one of the Joltics and go for the Hex again, I think. he wins in 2 turns, like, automatically. But if he needs to find the Crobats each turn and an energy each turn, though he doesn't. If he notices that we have Dimensional Valley, he really doesn't, which is even scarier, but hey. So yeah, we're just going to go for Night March. So alternatively, this would be 2 Shaman here. Probably going to take the VS Seeker again, to be honest. What else do we want? That Crobat doesn't really get us anything. I think we just need to keep chaining Hex here. So these potentially here, these 2 Night Marchers here, would potentially be Shamans if I'd done this a different way. He'd still take 4 prizes in a turn, and then he can easily KO a Shaman, so I think it's kind of okay either way. Still attaches the energy, okay, so he hasn't noticed that he can get away with free attacking with Golbat, that's interesting. I think he definitely could, like, do it again next turn, which is kind of scary. But if he misses for like 1 turn, we can hopefully knock out this Zubat if we can find a way to draw into our. I think honestly just going for the Hex and carrying on with what we're doing here is fine. Attach the DC. If he has like a teammates, then we're kind of screwed. Is there a teammates in the discard? Just go for the Hex. If he has it, then yeah, it certainly is interesting. I'm glad we had an interesting final match for this tournament. It's been such a fun tournament, and me and Elliot, for me, have been talking for the past couple of days. We've both been kind of trying to fit into one another's schedules, so it's nice to have a really fun and interesting game. Has the DCE? Does he have the Golbat? VSC could probably for Sycamore to draw into it. Could we see a 6 prize turn here? I'm gonna be really sad. I'm gonna be really sad if he does this. Has the Milotic. Okay, good game, Elliot. So here, the only difference would be if I'd kept those 2 Shamans, would be he would take 4 prizes and we would be left with a Shaman, which I'm pretty sure he could just respond with the next turn, because there's no way we can then knock out our Raichu. So I think either way we would have eventually lost the game. We also would have sort of not had we would have had Night Marchers left, but it would have been a lot more difficult for us to be able to find them. Okay, go for the Jirachi. Is he just BMing us? He might just be BMing us. Okay, goes for Circle Circuit. That's interesting. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Ideally we want to take out this Jirachi here. Okay, we draw the Lysander. I did not predict that. But I will definitely take it. That's really good. Gonna go for the Acrobike first, I think. VS Seeker and Battle Compressor. So we have the energy. We can take out this Jirachi. See, ideally we need to stop him from like getting a Golbat here. Okay, it's not over. The dream is not dead. It's just hanging on a limb. If we compressor here, I think we can compressor away an AZ, pick up. Okay, no, there's still 4 prizes. There's still 4 prizes. Though if we find a way of getting a Milotic, there's not 4 prizes anymore. Okay, so there was a slight cut in the recording there. I just did a compressor to get rid of some things. To get an AZ in the discard. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and AZ up one of these Joltics and then take the prize on the Raichu. If he has a way of getting Golbat next turn, he has the win anyway. Though we could Lysander this Zubat. I think actually if we Lysander this Zubat, he can respond with a Jirachi and take a prize. We can respond with a VS Seeker. Okay, I think we want to Lysander the Zubat here, because that's the only way he takes multiple prizes in a turn. And then we're going to go for the Night March. What I compress it away, what will we take here? We'll take a Muscle Band here, I think. What I compress it away, I only compress away an AZ. I probably, on reflection, I think there was a Xerosic in the deck, so I perhaps could have used got rid of the Xerosic as well, because it's kind of a dead draw, but I don't know. Sorry about the slight cut in the recording. Yeah, my PTC Joe has just sort of been not working too well lately. But hopefully you didn't really miss much. I stopped as soon as I realised that recording wasn't working anymore. I stopped talking and waited to see what was happening. So he's going to respond with a Circle Circuit here. We're going to bring up the Feebas. I think we're now going to knock out the Jirachi. We do have the Milotic as well, which means we can get a DCE back. So we only need to take 2 more prizes. Okay, so we're going to go for the Milotic. And we're going to get a DCE back. I really wish we'd been able to knock out the... or get rid of that Xerosic. That was definitely something I think I should have gotten rid of, which is really unfortunate. Going to go for the VS Seeker on the Lysander. Grabbing the Jirachi. How does he win next turn? 3 prizes. How do he take 3 prizes? I don't think he can. Okay, so we're going to go for the Night March. Knock out the Jirachi. Take the Sycamore, I guess. The Lampent just isn't useful here. So I guess the Sycamore could potentially be more useful. I can't see us doing anything other than... I suppose we could. Yeah, we could definitely use the Sycamore next turn, I guess. More so than the Lampent, at least. We don't really need either, though. I think we're probably going to... well, potentially VS Seeker for a Lysander or something. Oh, kind of annoyed about that misplay with the Xerosic. It is in the deck. You can, trust me, it is. Like the recording cut out pretty much as soon as I pressed the compressor, I think. So I don't know. I just saw the screen went black on my recording. Okay, so we go to the setup. Hopefully we have this game on lockdown. I think he has the positive matchup though, so game 3 could be Okay, it goes to the teammates. Okay, finishes off his deck, so there's no cards left in his deck. Does he have a way of stopping us taking the knockout this turn? He knows we have the DCE. I should have attached that DCE, to be fair. Though maybe if he runs like a Xerosic and an Enhanced Hammer, that could be pretty bad. I think all our other DCE have gone. 1, 2... Yeah, so this is our final DCE, presuming this Joltik goes down. He's going to put in some bats. I'm trying to think of a way that he could win this turn. Or avoid us not like winning this turn. If he has Enhanced Hammer, and then like Lysander, Floatstone, and Enhanced Hammer here, I guess. Goes for the stronger Raichu, the more HP Raichu, definitely. a worthwhile play, but we do indeed have the DC. So we do have the game next turn, which is really nice. First or second. We will attach the DC just to show him we do have it. Screwed up with that Milotic. He'd like to go first. Okay. So we are going to take the knockout. I will just double check that we're not missing something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, so he's going to go first. And we go into a game 3, a really interesting series for this final game. I really hope the recording doesn't cut out again. That will really annoy me if it does. But hey, what can be done? I need to definitely look into why it's doing that. It did it on a video earlier in this series as well. It just seems to be when I don't have my webcam on, which is really weird. It doesn't really cut off when I have my webcam on and doing deck reviews and stuff. But when I don't have my webcam on, it just doesn't seem to work quite as well or something. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna have to look into it, see if I can find a way of working out what the problem is. I think I said okay. I didn't say I was going first. Oh, that worried me there. I thought I just said I'll go first, just out of habit. Whoops. Okay, so our opponent starts with a mulligan, nothing we haven't seen by now. I'm pretty sure we've seen pretty much all 60 cards of his deck, to an extent. And we will take the mulligan card, just because cards are always useful for Night March. Get a Feebas. No real reason to bench it here, I don't think. Starts Feebas, that's a really good play on his part, because then he protects this Pikachu. Goes for Trainer's Mail and gets himself a Skyfield. That's a nice start on his side. The tickly cough is back. Gets a couple more Pokemon ready for Raichu next turn. Depending on whether we can get ourselves a Dimension Valley, we can actually take out this Pikachu here potentially if there is no Lysander in the prizes. Okay, so we're going to see what we've got prized here. Let's look for a Shaman's first. We've got 1, 2, 3 Shaman here. I'll do DC count as well now. We've got 1 in the hand. 2, 3, 4. The tickly cough. 4 DC, yep. 1 Pumpkaboo, second in the active, third and fourth. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I will just double check that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1 Joltik prized, and we've got 1 Feebas, 1 Milotic, 2 Feebas, 2 Milotic. Yeah, okay, 2 Milotic. Okay. I think here I'm going to go for Lysander, Sycamore, and Lampent. Oh, I didn't even do a Lampent count. I've got 1 in the hand, second, third. Okay. So we are getting the knockout here either way, just because I'm going to be Ultra Balling away one of these Lampents anyway. And probably the Ultra Ball as well. Or do I want to get rid of the Super Scoop Up? I think I want to get rid of the Ultra Ball here. To get myself a Shaman. Drop a Feebas down. Drop a DC on the Pumpkaboo. Really hoping we can get ourselves a Dimension Valley here. Off of the Shaman and potentially a Super Scoop Up, and then the VS Seeker as well. For the Sycamore as well. Hopefully we will. Get the Trainer's Mail, and we do get a Dimension Valley here straight away. So we are going to be taking a knockout here. What do we have? We've got 2 in the discard. Can we find a way, depending on whether we get the Shaman? We do get the heads on the Shaman. So we're going to go for Dimension Valley. I'd love to use a supporter turn 1 straight away, but I want to go for the Shaman to see what we draw off the Shaman first, because that will depend on what supporter we use. Go for the Acrobike. Hopefully we can find ourselves. So we're going to take the Towel Map. We'll discard the Joltik, meaning we're doing 60 damage. So we can indeed knock out this Pikachu. town map to see what we've got in the prizes. Going to be taking a battle compressor this turn, I think. Going to bench another Feebas. Do I want to bench another Feebas? Yeah, I want to bench another Feebas. Because he can Golbat and then attack to knock out a Feebas. So we're going to go for the VS Seeker, grab the Lysander. What's more of a threat? The Pikachu or the... I think the Pikachu is more of a threat. He doesn't knock us out here, which is kind of a slow tempo play for him. And we do have a Lysander next turn to be able to move this Jirachi if we need to. So yeah, we're going to be taking a compressor here to get some more Night Marchers into the discard and some more dead cards that we perhaps don't need for this matchup or don't want in the deck straight away. He does have the Skyfield to respond, and the DC and the Jirachi, so we are going to need to find... okay, interesting. We are going to need to find... well, we have the DCE, but we are going to need to use this VS Eco on a Lysander here instead. How many do we have in the discard? 1, 2, 3. So we can't knock out this Golbat just yet. Gets the AZ from the Trainer's Mail. Drops another Crobat, another Golbat. And we do lose the DCE, which is unfortunate. So he's protected here. Do we want to... well, I think we want to take another knockout here. Probably on this Golbat. We have the Sycamore for next turn. We have the energy for... what are we gonna be attaching to next turn? Gonna go for the compressor straight away. Gonna get ourselves at least a Joltik here, or oh, definitely a Lampent instead. So we now have enough damage to knock out that Golbat. What else do we want to get rid of here? There's no more Lampents in the deck because the last one's prized. Probably the Zerosic and the AZ, to be honest. Or potentially the Hex. Actually, if we use the Hex, we can use the Zerosic on the active. What do I want to do here? Because I still need the Dimension Valley, so I think I'm going to have to Milotic to get the Dimension Valley back. So it's what I want to knock out here. I think I want to knock out this Golbat. But this Golbat's kind of useless if... okay, what we could do is we could get rid of a Night Marcher, a Zerosic, and a Hex Maniac here. Where is it? We can go for the Hex Maniac to stop him evolving into these bats and getting any real value out of them. We won't attach this DCE, we won't take a knockout this turn, but this Jirachi will then be kind of useless. He'll have to find a way of retreating it or paying retreat or something to be able to use it again next turn. What are we going to use the Milotic for? How can we use the Milotic? So the VS Seeker gets us the Hex, so the Milotic maybe gets us a Night Marcher or Dimension Valley. I think it actually waits until next turn. But then he still gets the knockout. I think it probably gets us a Joltik here. Okay, so we're gonna get those three from the compressor. We're not going to attach this energy this turn. And therefore we don't need to Milotic this turn, so we're just going to go for the Hex here. There's no way he can knock out... I suppose he could knock out this one Feebas here, so maybe we should evolve. Maybe we should just evolve and get ourselves another compressor here. Just to avoid our opponent knocking us out. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. We'll get ourselves another compressor. Just to avoid our opponent getting the knockout on the... no, not that. On the Feebas. Is there any way you can knock this active out? There is, technically. I suppose. He could retreat and then attach a muscle band to the Golbat, I suppose. But so that leaves us with one of each Night Marcher. And how many Ultra Ball have we got? We've got 1, 2, and a Buddy Buddy Rescue. So we should draw into one of them next turn. Theoretically. Gonna go for the Hex. That's only if this Pumpkaboo gets knocked out. Gonna go for the Hex. Perhaps should have just got that Dimension Valley back anyway, just so we guarantee the knockout next turn. And then we're gonna not attach this turn. We have the energy for next turn. The worst case scenario is that we draw another energy this turn, or at the start of this turn. Because then we're going to have to discard one with the Sycamore, but hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. This has been a really interesting series. I've really enjoyed this series so far. Goes for the level ball. Probably getting himself a Pikachu here. Yeah, it does get a Pikachu. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Night March in the discard, so we can, even with the resistance, knock out this Jirachi next turn, if we can find ourselves a D-Valley. Getting himself a Pikachu, a Raichu, a Golbat, a Raichu, and that's it with the Sacred Ash. Goes for Stardust. Okay, so it still takes the knockout, and we're going to... what are we going to promote here? I think probably the Shaman, because we can bounce it either way. Though I would much prefer the Floatstone on the Milotic. But hey, we get Train's Mail, so let's see what we can get off this as Train's Mail. We get the Floatstone and the Dimension Valley. That's kind of awkward, but I think we take the Floatstone here. How many DC are in the discard? We've just lost 1. We're going to be losing a second here, unfortunately. Okay. So I think we take the Floatstone. Because we want to take another knockout here, ideally, even if we do lose a DC in doing so, because we still have an out to find another Milotic. We have another DC anyway, and we have an Ultra Ball. That's really nice. And we have a Buddy Buddy Rescue. Is there anything in his discard? I don't think there is, because we... Okay, so he Sacred Ash last turn, so there's nothing he can get from Buddy Buddy Rescue. So we really want a Compressor off the Trainer's Mail. So I could go for the Ultra Ball, discarding probably the Megaphone and the Super Scoop Up. What prize are we going to take? Then we take the Acrobike prize. Okay, so what I'm thinking is using Buddy Buddy Rescue to get a Pokemon back. Would it be a... it'd kind of have to be a Pumpkaboo here. Then using the Ultra Ball to get a Dimension Valley back to take the knockout here. Okay, so yeah, we're going to use Buddy Buddy Rescue. Our opponent can't get anything back, which means we're only getting value from it here, which is nice. We're going to get a Pumpkaboo back. Drop the Pumpkaboo down. Going to go for the Ultra Ball on the Megaphone and the Compressor here, I think. Because I want to see if I can use the Super Scoop Up on either the Shaman or one of the Milotics. Probably the Shaman, to be honest. So we're going to get rid of the Compressor. Grabbing ourselves a Milotic. We will go ahead and use the Milotic to grab the Dimension Valley. Really convoluted way of getting the knockout here, but we will have the knockout at least. Attach the DCE. Go for the Super Scoop Up. Get the heads. It's going to be on this Shaman. We'll send up the Pumpkaboo. We'll drop this Float Stone, probably, I'm not sure it really matters, but probably on the healthy Milotic, just so if this distance is a bit easier to knock out. And then we'll go for the Trainer's Mail. Getting a Muscle Band, there's nothing to sniff at there. May as well, actually I probably want to save this for maybe taking out a Zubat or something with Shaman, so I think I'm actually going to hold this, which is interesting. It doesn't really get much benefit on Pumpkaboo because we're going to be one-shotting everything anyway. Though I said that about the last game, and it definitely got value from our opponent's Pikachu doing an extra 20 damage. We've used a supporter, so I think here we're just going to take the knockout. Let me see what we're going to be taking from the prizes. Probably the Acrobike, like I said. Potentially the Dimension Valley, though we have one in hand. So yeah, probably the Acrobike here. What do we get? Yeah, I think we're going to get the Acrobike. Okay, so we're going to go for the Night March. Knocking out this Jirachi, even with resistance. And like I say, getting ourselves the Acrobike. Could have got the Dimension Valley, could have got the Joltik, I guess. But he did. I am being quite vigilant of the fact that he will have access to Golbats or Crobats at any point that we don't use Hex Maniac. So I'm kind of a bit wary to just get the Joltics onto the bench without using a Hex Maniac in that same turn, just so we guarantee some sort of value from them. Our opponent evolves into Raichu. Sent this Golbat, so he may have realised that he can use Sweep Across with Dimension Valley for absolutely free. Absolutely free, absolutely nothing for free, I suppose. Both of those kind of work. This has been a really long series as well. I think we're on about an hour by now. Goes for the Milotic, probably looking for an energy or something. Grabs himself the DCE, and yeah, attaching it to the Raichu. Still quite interested that he plays Water, probably for this Aqua Swirl attack, but I can't see it ever getting too much value, but at least you have the option to do so if you ever need to. Goes to the teammates. Getting himself probably maybe a Crobat or a couple of Golbat or something. I'm sure we'll see in a second. Does get a Golbat on the active. Maybe a Golbat Crobat. So he takes 2 prizes here. Does go for the Golbat Crobat. So he is going to be knocking out the Pumpkaboo. And we're going to give him this Milotic here. That won't knock out the Milotic. 20, 40, 60, 80. So we can actually send this Milotic up. And not have it knocked out next turn. It will only be a Crobat away though, which is always a concern. But at least this one has free retreat. See, here's another point that maybe I should have attached the Floatstone here. But he now has 5 bench, so he's going to be doing 100. So now it would knock out this Milotic, whereas it won't knock out this one, unless he finds the Muscle Band. Which he could do. He could have got that from the teammates or something. If he doesn't, we will have free retreat next turn at least. And yeah, Lysander is in there, so we can actually take out this Shaman next turn if we want to as well, to go down to 2 prizes. If we can find ourselves a Night Marcher and a DCE, that is, of course. 1, 2, 3 DC in the discard, okay. We do have the Night Marcher. Do I want to Hex this turn instead? Depends if we can find the DCE, really. Can I attach the Muscle Band here? I don't think it's really relevant, but gets another card out of our hand. Gonna go for the Acrobike. Do get the DCE, that's really good. Is AZ in here? I don't think it is. I might be missing it, but I don't think it is. Okay, AZ is not in the deck. So how does he knock us out next turn? If we knock out this Raichu, which we will do, and use the Hex Maniac, he can't double backdrop us. Which means we have another turn to find a way of picking up one of these Milotics. Hex is in there, right? Hex is in there, okay. I'm going to drop this Shaman. Going to really want to look for like a Super Scooper or something here to try and pick up one of these Milotics. Do have a Joltik as well. We do need to pick up one of these Milotics relatively soon. Don't want to bench this Joltik simply because if we do, it's going to mean... Okay, we do get the compressor. That's nice. If we do, it's going to mean he can actually take prizes on all three of them if we don't get to use Hex. Though now we do have a way of getting into AZ. We can use Hex. So we can AZ up next turn. AZ up the Milotic next turn. Okay, what prize are we taking here? I think we're taking the Joltik here. Potentially the Dimension Valley. Okay, we've still got a Dimension Valley in hand. So yeah, we're just going to take the compressor here. And from the compressor, going to get rid of AZ. I think that's probably it. Because both, well, the Ultra Ball's kind of bad, but Super Scoop up here is a really useful card. Do need to be aware that we are going to run out of cards soon as well, though. And then how do we want to... So okay, so here we're just going to go for the Hex. Yeah, just going to go for the Hex. Next turn we'll go for the Lysa, or next turn we'll perhaps go for the Hex as well. Oh no, we need to go for the AZ next turn to pick up the Milotic. So we will need to bench the Joltik next turn as well, because then this Pumpkin will go down. So we'll have to promote the Joltik. Then we'll get the DCU back. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing from here. Taking a knockout on this Raichu. We could definitely deck out here. That's something I need to really keep in mind. What do I want? What do I want? Probably the Hex. Potentially the Joltik, actually. Yeah, I think the Joltik. So I think we may... It depends whether... well, when we get the Super Scoop up, and whether it's a heads or not. If it's a heads, and we get AZ next turn, we can potentially... This is difficult. I'm really worried about decking out. I should have definitely been paying attention down here. Bench the Pikachu. Okay, so he's bringing up the Shaman, which is a really good play on his part. Because it means I'm pretty sure we can't win from there unless he benches the Shaman again, which he probably won't do. So we need to find a way of getting a card into the deck, which is pretty much impossible. There's no real way we can do that, I don't think. So I think we lose from there, but we will play it out anyway. We don't even get the... what's it called? The Super Skip off anyway, which is annoying. Yeah, unfortunately we have run out of cards, which means we need to take 3 prizes in 2 turns, which is something this deck doesn't do, unfortunately, without Shamans on the board. Next turn he has the DC, so he definitely gets a knockout on this Pumpkaboo next turn. I think I'm willing to say GG here, but I don't want to, just in case there's anything I'm missing. I'm just going to play it out anyway. So if we VS Eco here, we can AZ up Milotic, we can drop a Feebas down. Yeah, I think that's a good game from that. So I will indeed say GG. I wasn't going to, but I think there's no point in playing out a game that isn't going to result in us doing much more. I guess going for the AZ on the Milotic is still a fair enough play. So we'll drop the Joltik and then go for the AZ on the Milotic. That is good game to our opponent Elbow though. We'll pick up this one just with less HP, just because he can still backdrop it technically. And we will go for the Night March. There's nothing here we can take. We'll probably Hex here. Nothing really matters. That's an unfortunate game, but that was, I think, one of the most fun games I've had with Night March in a long time. It does have the Crobat as well, which is really unfortunate. What do we want to bring up? Doesn't really matter. If he has any energy, he can attack. He can still take the prize. Whereas if we have the Feebas, we can use the Milotic at least. Interesting that he didn't realise about Dimension Valley and his bats before. I've done the exact same thing. I was playing in a tournament in London a few months ago against a really good player in the UK, Luke Burke, and I think I was playing Manectric bats and he was playing Night March, and I completely forgot that the bats can actually use all of their attacks for free. While Dimension Valley is in play, I was going ahead attaching energy to the bats when I didn't need to, which is unfortunate, but yeah, definitely something to really think about when you're playing with these bat decks against Night March. It's another really sort of powerful use for these bats, which is really nice. What do we throw up here? There's no real reason for us to carry on playing this game, so we will concede. I don't want to concede. I don't want to concede. I'll let him. I don't want to just like take the win away from him. I'd rather he. Well, I think he'll enjoy taking these final two prizes potentially. We will make it difficult though. We're going to go for the Hex, I think, here. Not that it really helps him. Yeah, I'm just going to say GG again. Go for the Hex and pass it over. I suppose we could bench a Joltik and a Shaman. Go for the Super Scoop Up, make it easy on him. Ah, we get the tail, so he doesn't win by 2 conditions next turn, only 1 at the moment, unless he can Lysander up the Shaman as well. Really good battles, Elliot for me, or Elbow. Definitely a really, really fun series. One that potentially I didn't play too well, but I think it was far too fun for me to be all that bothered about. It was a really, really fun little set of games. Oh, he's going to take the prize. Oh, he's going to take the win like that. That's rough. Elliot. Okay. But yeah, that was a really, really good series. It was kind of long as well. I think we kind of went over the allotted time, but it was fine by me. That was a lot of fun anyway. So Elliot, if you're watching this, really good games, really well played, man. And I hope you get into the top 8. And yeah, to everyone else, thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Omnipoke, and I look forward to seeing you in the beginning of the February tournament coming up in the next couple of days on the channel. I won't be playing Night March again. I've decided to pick a different deck just to keep things a little bit fresh. So yeah, definitely check out the first couple of rounds of that, which will probably be up in the next few days. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Omnipoke, and I will see you all in another video coming up soon.